What's up, everyone? Welcome. Reality Steve's on YouTube. You probably didn't think that was going to happen, but as we'll get to in a second, you will see if you're on my YouTube channel. By the way, subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. I'd really appreciate it. It'd be great if you did, because we have a lot of stuff coming up. Remember, I used to do lives. I used to do them with Ashley Spivey on Instagram, but it turned into really no way to monetize it that way. And I figure with YouTube, we'll get to the monetization point at some point. So what I would ask of you right now, if you want to help support my YouTube career, scrolling on the bottom right now, Brad, if you can put that in, Venmo and PayPal, if you are so inclined to help out and to support the YouTube career, my Venmo and PayPal will be scrolling across the video the whole time we're doing this. So check that out. And I do want to say that already it's happened once. I'm still working out the technical kinks of working on YouTube. Even though I did work on YouTube in the past, if you go to my channel, which we're going to bring up in a little bit. So there is something that I just found out about as I'm kind of preparing for this is it already happened once where my camera, I just did it again. Camera's going in and out of focus. And that's worrisome because what I was told was when I move my hands, the camera then wants to focus my hand as the main focus of the picture. That's why it's going in and out. Well, I think you'll notice a lot of times, especially when we bring guests on, we bring Dave on, we bring Courtney on, we're going to bring Courtney's husband on too, when we start talking about a little bit the Clayton and Laura Owens case. You will see me, I do this a lot. I'm on camera like this a lot, but then now my hand is part of the camera that is wanting to get in focus. And I've got to, I'm used to radio. I'll record my podcast at night, looking at my notes and record my podcast like this. Literally my hands are almost in my mouth. Well, I'm not going to do that on camera, but if Dave's talking, if Dave's telling a story, I'll be listening attentively, but I'll be listening like this. I've got to remember to I got to remember to keep my hands down. So bear with me, because this camera, which isn't the highest quality camera as we develop here on YouTube, I will try and be a little bit better with that. But yeah, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as I said, if you are so inclined to help with this YouTube journey, you can, donate to the Venmo and PayPal, donations, tips, whatever you want to call them. So I wanted to immediately start with this. I know a lot of you are coming in for some Bachelorette spoilers. So I wanted to get that out of the way right away. And when I look at the Bachelorette spoilers, I've given a lot out of my Bachelorette spoilers already. I've definitely hit on those a couple already. But what I wanted to do was this. I do have your first few episode spoilers, and then still no new news on who the third overnight date is and the fourth hometown date guy, which is the same person. It's literally narrowed down to 3 possibilities. That's what I know at this point. So I want to put that out there right away. Earlier this week, I specifically said, hey, I've got some mini spoilers for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over the first few episodes, because I've pretty much got that all laid out for you. I've got the numbers and the eliminations. So here we go. And if some of you can remember the timestamp on this, Brad, can you remember the timestamp on this? When I'm starting the spoilers, so I know, because I'm not seeing a timer. So anyway, so because I know that people aren't tuning in right now. Maybe they join in 15 minutes. Maybe they join in 45 minutes from now. And they're going to be like, what are the spoilers that Steve talked about? And it's going to be all over the chat or whatever. So I will be able to just say, hey, scroll back to minute whatever. What are we in? Minute 5, roughly? You can nod your head, Brad. I can see you. Yeah. Okay. So around minute 5 and tell people. All right. So here we go. We all know that Jen had 25 men to start the season. You know that the first impression rose went to Sam McKinney. He got the first impression rose. And then the big thing on night 1 is something that I had teased a couple weeks ago. I don't know the answer to it yet, but I will soon, because they will be releasing the first episode to media, and I will find out through ways about that. And what I will do is, once I find that out, that will determine whether or not I share the story. And be like, well, then why would you even bring it up in the first place? Well, I got to tell you, because it's something that if it's not shown, that would be no different than me running with negative information about a contestant without any proof, which is what you don't want. You want some sort of proof. You want some sort of receipts. You want some sort of tea. So I should know soon enough. It is somebody. It happens on night one, as my camera goes in and out. That's going to bother the shit out of me. I tell you that right now. I'm going to, once I find out, I right now, I think it's 50-50 if they show it or not. But if what I was told happened, which I know it happened, if it ends up being shown in the first episode, I'm just telling you, it will give a lot of the audience a negative perception of somebody on the show. Somebody that lasts, obviously, a long time. This wouldn't be somebody that is irrelevant to the season. So I will put it that way. But I should know that once that first episode is released to the public. And, we're 16 days away from Jenn's first episode airing on July 8th. So there you go. All right. So she has 25 men to start the cocktail party. It's not at the mansion this year. Although, did you see Jesse Palmer posted on his Instagram story from the mansion last night, the original mansion on Thursday night? So Joan's season, the men will be staying at the regular mansion, but Jenn shot her first night at I think it's called like the Hummingbird Ranch or the Hummingbird Nest or something like that. It's where they shot the Listen to Your Heart show that aired right before the pandemic. So first night, we go from 25 guys to 18 guys. 7 guys eliminated. On the first night, those guys are Brendan Barnum, Brett Harris, Dakota Nobles, Kevin McDevitt, Matt Arnold, Mose Smith, and Ricky Marinas. So 18 guys head to episode number 2. Episode number 2, the first date of the season, is a group date. This is in Australia. And it is with how many guys? 8. 8 guys on this group date. I had told you about this, but I didn't tell you who the 8 guys were. I can tell you now. They are, oh gosh, I didn't write their last names down, so I should probably specify. They are Aaron Erb, Brian Otts, Devin Strader, Grant Ellis, Jeremy Simon, Jonathan Johnson, Sam Najad, and Marvin Goodley. Those are your 8 guys that are on the comedy date. I don't know who gets the group date rose or anything like that. But then the one-on-one date in episode 2 is Marcus Schoberg's, and that's where they go skydiving. You've seen that in the previews. Then the second group date in episode 2 is I don't know if they're at a zoo or a safari, but I can tell you it is with 9 guys. And those 9 guys are Spencer Conley, John Mitchell, Dylan, what's his last name? Oh, Bucker. I was going to say Buckner. Dylan Bucker, Austin Ott, Hakeem Moulton, Jahan Ansari, Sam McKinney, Thomas Wynn, and Thomas Azano. Those are the 9 guys. So 8 guys on the first group date, the comedy group date, one-on-one with Marcus. So that's 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 guys on that. That's your 18 guys that are in episode 2. And unfortunately, the 3 guys eliminated in the episode 2 rose ceremony are, where is it, Steve? I got it right here. Hakeem Moulton, Jahan Ansari, and Marvin Goodley. I'm sure that's not going to sit well with a lot of people. Oops. Good job, Jen. Anyway, so on to episode 3. Episode 3 now has 15 men left. They're still in Australia for episode 3. And episode 3 has a one-on-one date with Spencer Conley. That is where they are taking a helicopter ride to the 12 Apostles, which is, I guess, some tourist attraction in Australia. Then we have the 10-person stripper date, which is with Devin Strader, Dylan Bucker, Grant Ellis, John Mitchell, Jonathan Johnson, Marcus Schoberg, Sam McKinney, Sam Najad, Thomas Wynn, and Thomas Azzano. Then there is a 4-person group date. So we have, of the 15 guys, we got a one-on-one with Spencer, 10-person group date. Then we've got a 4-person group date, small group date. That's the racing car date, which you've seen in the previews as well. That is with Austin Ott, Aaron Erb, Jeremy Simon, and the 4th guy I'm not 100% sure on. Right now, I think it's Brian. I think it's Brian Otts. But I know 14 of the 15 guys. And then there is, I think it's Brian Otts. I think he's number 15. And then after at Rose Ceremony number 3, I can tell you for sure they go from 15 in that episode down to 11. And in doing the math and kind of process elimination here, I can tell you that Thomas Azzano is definitely eliminated in episode 3. I can tell you that pretty sure Sam Najad is eliminated in episode 3. That's 2 of them. Not Jeremy, not Jonathan, not Marcus, not Grant, not Dylan, not Devin, not Austin. Oh, here's something I do want to say. I think this is the episode where Aaron Erb goes home. You'd be like, wow, Noah's brother got eliminated in episode 3. Yes, he did. However, I think the storyline for Aaron Erb is going to be this. I was told he got a call from like flight school, and they basically said, we need you now. And if you don't come back home, and I think, I don't want to screw it up. I probably should have written this down, but basically, I don't want to say he doesn't self-eliminate because he doesn't, get along with Jen or anything like that. But basically, they're going to make his edit as, I guess you would kind of call a hero's edit, because he's basically leaving the show to go learn to fly for our country. So that's why Aaron Erb only lasted 3 episodes in this show. He doesn't make it to New Zealand, because they go to New Zealand for episode 4. And that's where I don't have episode 4 laid out just yet. And episode 4, 5, and 6. 6 is Seattle. I know 6 of the 7 guys in Seattle. And I know who goes home, because 11 guys end up in episode 4. And by the end of episode 6, we're down to 4. We're down to our final 4. We know who our 3 of our 4 are. So that's why I wanted to give you, that's why I said they're mini spoilers. You have now laid out the first 3 episodes. You know who goes home, except for there's one guy missing in episode 4. But again, I know that you are listening to this and you're probably not taking notes. So this is probably going to go over your head. But just know that this will be on the website at some point. And it's literally 1 or 2 guys that I just don't know which episode they go home in, but then that is like a domino effect. So I just want to get that ready to go, and then I'll have it all for you. So those are your Jen spoilers that I want to give you for now. I definitely remembered that Aaron Erb story that I had not posted about just yet. And he gets called by flight school that he needs to come back home to start his training. And I guess he's flying. I don't want him. I want to say he's flying for our country, but he is. And so he's going to get somewhat of a hero's edit. They're going to make it seem like he had to leave the show to go learn to fly for our country. Anyway, so there's your Jen spoilers. I wanted to get that out of the way. I appreciate you waiting for that. And for people that come in, that covered 10 minutes. So if you just came in, scroll back 10 minutes to the 5-minute mark of this live, and you can check that out. Now, without any further ado, I want to bring in the guy who's pretty much responsible for me doing this Instagram live. It is none other than Dave Neal. Dave.
Oh my gosh, you're going to make me responsible for you? By the way, it's called YouTube, just so you know.
What did I say?
Instagram.
See, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, I call it
What are you
Instagram
doing?
Live. Yeah, look at that. First night on YouTube, and I'm calling it Instagram Live.
It's
Dave,
so
thanks for
funny that
joining.
you've got the Bachelor audience, and then you've got this, Jane Doe crowd that probably cares less about the Bachelor.
Okay, before we get into any of the Laura stuff and Clayton stuff, which has kind of gone crazy in the last 48 hours, believe it or not. I do want to say again, you posted maybe an hour ago on your Instagram about the loss of your dog Boone, and again, I just wanted to say, man, it's the worst, and I'm sorry for you and Tasha for that, but I appreciated the Instagram post about it. I'm sure it's been tough for you guys.
Very tough.
Yeah,
but expected, and you still don't know.
Yeah,
what's going to hit you.
I hear you. So I kind of want to lighten the mood here, and I mentioned I haven't been on YouTube, and when you told me about this, I'm like, well, I know I've been on YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel, and then I was pulling up my YouTube channel. And I realized I hadn't uploaded anything in 7 years. So anybody that's watching this, you can see my videos on YouTube, and I want to bring them up. But I want to, one thing I've talked about over the years is the greatest spoiler I ever got was Andy Dorfman's season. They were there. She filmed her finale in the Dominican Republic, and an ex of mine was sitting behind Nick Vial on his flight home. This particular flight, I believe, was from Miami. So they flew from Dominican Republic to Miami, and then they were going Miami to, I think, Charlotte, and then he was going Charlotte to Milwaukee. I can't remember. Or maybe it was, no, I think it was Miami directly to Milwaukee because he was going home to see his family because that's where he's from. So she just heard things that he was saying and just started to hit record. He was in the first row of the plane, and she was in the second row, and I realized she sent it to me, and I was like, I totally forgot. This is still on my YouTube channel. So I want to bring up.
You just
want to bring up the Nick
that
video.
This is real too. Like, just the fact that the world's this small.
Unbelievable that this even happened.
I've never watched this.
Oh, you never watched this? This
I
is
was
great.
Completely out of the loop for that season.
So it's like a 3-minute video of him basically talking to a family member. I don't know who the family member is on the other end, but he's eating Cheetos. He's talking to his family member. And it's 3 minutes. And then I made it into a 30-second short where he was just talking about the Andy part of it. And I need to learn how to do this. So I do share screen.
You go to present.
Oh, God, I'm already blanking, Dave. How do I do this again? Present.
Then is it a video? Then you share screen, and then you go to.
Well, it's up right now, right? You're seeing this?
Yeah, let's just see if we can hear it just to make sure. I'll let you know if we can't hear it.
Yeah. Well, I gotta add it, right? Well, I haven't started playing it yet.
I already added it, Steve. You just gotta switch over to the tab.
And the tab's right here. This one.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna go to videos and do the 3-minute one. I'll play the 3-minute one, even though there's no sound. So here it is. Nick Vial talking about his Bachelorette experience.
I was very subtle.
Let me go back to the beginning. So we got this, right? Can you hear this, Dave?
Yes.
Okay. So
500,000 views.
Yeah, this got 500,000 views when I posted it. And it's literally, I don't think I have a video that's over 100 after this.
You just have a viral video and then you walk away. I love it.
And I walked away from this. So this was what's the date of this video? It was, it says 10 years ago. So this would have been about 2014. All right, let me hit play. The beginning is, he's talking, but he's also got the plane is kind of loud, but I'll chime in and maybe stop here and there. But here we go. This is Nick on the phone with some family member. And this is one of his beefs with me that he had for years is he said by posting this video, I ruined his life. And I made his life so difficult. Victim blaming, like, dude, you were the one that were talking loud on a plane, talking about your experience on The Bachelorette. I didn't ruin it for you, but whatever.
You did your part.
I did my part. Yeah, here we go. Chewing his Cheetos.
Say what? Oh yeah. I was very subtle. I was just like, oh, when she was talking about it, I just looked like a goofy sob around you because I sensed it throughout the whole thing, and I kept saying, I can't wait for her to leave. can't wait till we get to do this stuff. We just go to like Kmart and just chill, and we don't have to worry about all this other stuff, you know. And I just kept saying it just because I wanted, you know. And I said to her, I'm like, we don't. And then I just, you know, instead of arguing with her, I said, you know what? And I just left it at that.
Does he have a Wonder Woman shirt on? Isn't that what Wonder Woman's outfit was with the stars and the blue and the red? Isn't that her deal?
Looks like he's heading to a MAGA rally.
And this woman, the guy.
All right, so we're a minute in.
Pretty loud. If you can hear
He's eating
someone,
his Cheetos, hot
Okay.
Cheetos.
For some reason, we passive it. It's actually happened once.
I'm getting hungry watching this.
It was the guy with the girl.
yeah, and then talking and eating at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's no marriage.
So if you missed that, he basically just said to whoever he's talking to, yeah, it's happened one other time where the guy changed his mind because he's actually thinking that, well, maybe she's going to realize she made a mistake and dump him. And he's telling somebody, yeah, the guy changed his mind. He's talking about Jason and Molly and that they're still together to this day. He just said that part. We're here, and he goes on here. Here's where he starts laying into Josh. Coming up real quick.
She's incredibly stubborn.
Told me on the phone he registered last Friday.
I think the person next to him said, "Stop talking so loud."
And if someone's passive aggressive and models things up, probably, you know what I'm saying? Oh, loved her. Loved her family.
Loved her family.
Great relationship with both her parents. Loved, you know. Loved her. We just clicked. I mean, it was so funny because throughout the season, I had her, and I meet some of my friends, and they asked her what it is, and she said this is one of the first things she said to me. She's like, "This is so easy with you," and she was like, "This is so easy with you." And ironically, she basically was saying, "It's too hard, you know, you can't do this," you know, which really wasn't 27. Which is basically like, I'm scared shitless.
So he's making it seem like I'm scared shitless to pick you, when kind of knew she was picking Josh the whole time.
She went back to what she used to. I mean, I don't know how else. I mean, again, actions speak louder than words.
What a crazy thing that, like, is this his first season?
Yeah.
So
yeah, this was the very first season he was
no
on.
one would know him, but people are walking by.
Well, here's the thing. You got to remember, this is after, I gotta learn how to go back to the tab. This is after, how do I get this off again? Oh, remove. Okay, so this is after they had finished filming, but this is before, back then, they did not release the men, the show, where like they gave the whole cast and they say these are the potential men for this season. This was 10 years ago. So I had released possible men who were going to be on Andy's season just by information that was given to me. But nobody would have known him sitting on that plane because it hadn't aired and it literally just ended filming. So nobody knew him at that point. But the reason I got that video, because the girl that I had hooked up with years before was sitting next to him. And she said, you know, the reason I texted her afterwards, she was like, I just noticed somebody sitting in front of me started saying some keywords like rose ceremonies, final rose and stuff like that. So I just started recording, and then I went to your site. I hadn't been to your site in a while, and I saw this guy's face, and I was like, oh, this must be the guy that was just on The Bachelor. So that's how it came to be. It was just keywords that she was hearing. She didn't know who he was. She just started recording because she knew me. She knew what I did. And then there you go.
Did this clip make the news? I know like spoilers don't always get like newsworthy.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. God, it was 10 years ago. You know what? I don't even remember if it did or not. Honestly, I know that
it's like, I'm sorry. I mean, if you were his buddy and released it, it'd be bad. But like, what do you want to do? Don't talk out loud. In a crowd.
You know what? And honestly, you know what? I mean, obviously, you know, he has held the grudge against me ever since his video, and he made that clear when I went on his podcast back in 2020. But I think if I got this same exact video now, I would probably just release the information that was in the video, because I do kind of understand that is impersonal, and he did not know he was being recorded on a plane. So I can respect that, but for him to say, you put me through hell, and it's just like,
well, if
but you're the one talking.
He made a big mistake there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. He's more embarrassed.
Interview that you did with him, I rewatched that. It is just unbelievably self-aware for him to think he came off well. I mean, his audience and your audience all said he was just obnoxious, a blowhard. It was very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
How he thought that was a good idea, and that he thought it went well afterwards.
Yeah. And that was the thing that really kind of set me off, especially in his podcast. And he also accused me of harassing his dad. And I'm just like, Nick, I've got all the emails from your dad. His dad contacted me during filming. He was very unaware, very naive about how the show worked. And he was just hitting me up for like, hey, what have you heard about my son and stuff like that. I've got all the emails. I could show the receipts, but there's no need to anymore. It's 10 years old. Nick and I don't talk anymore. But yeah, I just think it's funny that he held that against me for so long, because yeah, he did get in trouble by production. They weren't happy that he was talking about it on a plane heading back from the final rose ceremony. But probably now, like I said, if I got that video, I would just relay what the basics of it were.
There's nobody that was on The Bachelor ever that has been so contrived as he has been. Do you even think he liked Caitlin Bristow to get on her season? He was, I mean,
I heard that he did. He was very, and he's even admitted, like, he was following along the spoilers. He couldn't, kind of like he couldn't bring up your name in the Clayton interview. He couldn't bring up my name when he said, oh yeah, when Clayton's season started, when Caitlin's season started, I was following along because her and I were very flirty. I was very interested in her, but she said, I'm going to go do the show. And he's like, okay, maybe I'll see you, maybe I won't. And then he said, I was following along the spoilers, and he jumped in episode 4, I believe, in New York. And I had pictures from that of him literally joining the show. And in the spoilers, as the show was being filmed, I'm like, hey, Nick has just joined the show in episode 4. And here's a picture of him talking to production before he meets with the guys. So I do think he liked Caitlin, because they were definitely talking pre-show, but then she said, oh, I'm going to be the Bachelorette, or I have the ability to, because that was the season where they gave it to Caitlin and Britt, and the guys had to vote on the first night who they wanted as their Bachelorette. But yeah, I guess he did kind of like
my core differences with Nick is that I see the world as a place of abundance, and I think he sees it as a place of scarcity. Now, Jennifer says Dave and Nick are more similar than Dave realizes. I would love to hear why, because all I want is, credit where it's due. And I want alumni to stick up for each other. And the fact that Nick shat all over mental health, and he's the one who does all the hypocritical stuff. He's the one who starts beef with people, calls them fuckboys, and does all these things, and then does the thing that he accuses other people of doing. I'd like to know more reasons why I'm just like Nick.
Yeah, that's kind of out of left field that Dave is like Nick. I don't know how in the world you're like him.
Because I'm all about it. If people want to provide me like, well, you do this, you do that. But it's like Nick can't even say Jared Freed's name, a guy who's like super like high up in the comedy world. He doesn't want to have anyone on his show that'll draw eyeballs away from him. Celebrities are fine because they're like not doing the thing he's doing. And he's got like 17 yes men surrounded by him. I'm a lone shark. Okay, I'm here. I got me, and I got a clicker here that turns my set on. This is all I got. You know what I mean?
So that person responded and said, "You're a sniper from the side, Dave." What? Jennifer F came back. You're a sniper from the side, Dave. LOL.
If I'm a sniper, at least I'm wearing an orange vest, and I'm telling you, hello, here I am. He's in camouflage. You don't know he's hit you, and I'm saying, here are my views, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, that's it's pretty crazy. We're about half hour in. It's perfect. Again, thanks for joining. If you want to hear if you came in for the spoilers that I gave for the first 3 episodes, just go back to the 5-minute mark. Is that what it was? And just scroll back to the 5-minute mark, and it's about 10 minutes long, going over what happens in timestamp spoilers. 5:35 if you're Pacific, 8:35 Eastern time.
By the way,
let's kind of
Kathy said she goes, Dave's self-made. Reality, Steve's self-made. And she's all about you. The people that do things without needing like Disney, ABC jamming a verification down their throat. Like, you're here because an audience liked your blog, your email list, you know what I mean? Like, you're grassroots. That's why I'm so glad you're back on YouTube, because you deserve the super chats. You deserve the algorithm here.
If you, I'm gonna pull up my YouTube page again, because this is still kind of funny. So look at this is stuff I haven't posted. Look, it's 7 years ago. So Nick's season, here is his one-on-one date in Wisconsin, because one of his episodes was in Wisconsin. Him dancing with Danielle Lombard, the second annual Reality Steve party. I have video from that. I've got James Taylor and Robbie Hayes in Atlanta talking about the Bachelorette. Man, look at some of the videos that I posted. I was like, why did I do this? Reality Steve birthday party 9 years ago. So that's the year after. So that was, or the 2 years before that one. Britt and remember Britt, after she left the show, Caitlin got voted as the Bachelorette by the guys. Then Britt ended up going off on her own with one of the guys that she was eliminated the first night. Brady Toops was his name. Here's Chris Soules on his season eliminating Jade Roper at the Final Four Rose ceremony. I got video of that. Chris Soules and Whitney on their one-on-one date, about to see a mural. My reaction to my niece when I gave her, or my niece's reaction when I gave her Selena Gomez tickets. That's on there for some reason. Emily Maynard and this was her first one-on-one of the season. His name was Ryan Bowers. I don't know. I talk about 10 random videos, or wait, how many are there? 14 random videos.
Yeah, YouTube was so simple back then. You didn't need a thumbnail. You didn't need to worry about.
I just posted the video. And then some of the lives that I did. Look, I did 5 Reality Steve live video chats on YouTube, or maybe I did them on Google, and I think I just uploaded them to YouTube. But let's just look at, I think this one is already me talking about
she's
Nick.
Engaged to Evan.
Do you think Carly has told Jay
without
she's engaged
knowing
to Evan?
100%?
Look at this.
If she has, I'd be willing to bet.
Look at Reality Steve 7 years ago.
Same house.
Yeah, same house.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, no.
Who do you predict will last longer, Carly and Evan, or Lace and Grant?
Lace and Grant.
Lace and Grant. Look at that. Lace is since broken up with Grant, has a baby, and I'm talking about her and Grant here. Let's see.
He's now the biggest puppet mouthpiece for the franchise. So question, are they paying him or promising another show appearance? He's past Chris Bukowski as the biggest douche and fame whore of all the guys ever. Did he ever go back to his job? He's 35. Doesn't he have anything better to do with his life? He's really pathetic. Well,
look at Dave. We literally just spent 10 minutes talking about Nick, and here I go back to a video from 7 years ago where people were saying Nick Viala is the biggest ass kisser and the biggest douche in the franchise.
And it's like, and then you're called it's like, don't we all agree? You know what I mean? Like what?
What were some of these other? All right. Anyway, but yeah, these are on my YouTube page. So all you got to do, even though I'm back on YouTube, there's still stuff up there from 7 years ago. If you want to see my niece's reaction when I gave her tickets to the Selena Gomez concert, you can do that.
So I explained this to you, but I want to tell your audience the way monetization works on YouTube is you got to become you got to be approved by YouTube. And the way to get approved is have 1,000 subscribers, which you already have, but you have to have 4,000 watch hours in the last year. So no previous videos count. You have to keep that up. So so if anyone's listening right now and you got to go run and do an errand, let it play. Let this whole thing play out as long as possible. And you might get monetized by the end of the night, you know what I mean? Or definitely within a couple of streams. And then people can send super chats and you can make advertiser dollars and make that breadstick money we've been talking so much about.
So I wanted to, Courtney's going to come on in about 25 minutes. Told her to call in and at 6:30 Pacific time, which is where she is. So I want to spend the next little bit going over the latest in the Laura Owens and Clayton case, because it looks like Laura is starting to realize that the walls are caving in on her. The fact that she's done 2 Medium blog posts in the last 24 hours, and they are completely unhinged. Last night's was literally nothing about you. Unbelievably enough, nothing about you, nothing about Clayton, nothing about the case, nothing about Greg Gillespie, just absolutely ripping into Mike Maricini. And you were never there. He abused me, but none of you cult people even want to believe me, and it doesn't matter what I say. It's like, okay. And then today, it was all about Clayton is a liar. You all call me a liar, but Clayton is a liar because of the real estate deal that we were supposed to do. And look at what he said. He said he was going to submit my offers, but he didn't. It's like, Laura, that is such a moot point right now. He's already been penalized for this. And she literally spent a whole Medium article saying, look, Clayton lied.
And like he did that because it was Pepe Le Pew. He was trying to get the stink away from himself, right? He was trying to shift her to, like, he was literally trying to give her to someone else and literally pass up a $200,000 commission. That's how little he wanted to respond to her. So no one's saying he did the right thing contractually. Like, and this is again why she preys on new people. He probably had no idea what he was getting himself into. Like, contractually as a realtor, he had to submit her offer. He didn't do it. It was wrong. Move on. Next. No need to read the article. Like, but it has nothing to do about his character when it comes to trapping men and he did it while he was already under duress from you, Laura.
Yeah. What she didn't mention in those, in her Medium post, she was showing the correspondence between him and her. And it was like May 25th, May 26th. So this is 6 days after the hookup, when we all know 1 day after the hookup, he basically said, look, I need to wipe my hands of this. We shouldn't have done that last night. Crossed the line. I don't think that there's any future between us. So yeah, he didn't put in your offers. We know this. He didn't submit your offers because he wanted nothing to do with you. That's why. He wanted to move on from you. And here she is after losing big time by Judge Mata in the state of Arizona. And she's writing a Medium post about something that happened in May of 2023. Hey, look, Clayton lied about submitting an offer for me when it's just like, Laura, it is such a moot point. And he's already been, I don't even think he ever got in trouble from like the Arizona Real Estate Board for this, did he? He just got kind of a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, they acknowledged it and they weren't gonna do anything else. They're like, yeah, we see it happened. They probably talked to him. He probably explained to them, hey, this is what's going on. Look, she did the same thing to that guy Sean, the contractor, where she tried to get him fired, and she ended up having to almost bankrupt his company, and all of that. So she knows how to go straight for the jugular, straight for it, right up the chain. If we had a boss, if there was a man at YouTube she could call up, she would have done that already.
The Mike Maricini story much better than I do, other than my conversation with him when I was in Arizona with you and hanging out with him. I heard a lot of the stories that he told, kind of the same stories that he told on Megan Fox's podcast when he did his first interview about all of this. And you're more well-versed on Mike than I am. So I thought yesterday's Medium post that Laura made was, once again, it was just her saying, you guys weren't there. You don't know. And look, it's this. I want to be as clear as I can about this. This has nothing to do with not believing women, because I think every situation is a different story. What I'm choosing not to believe is Laura Owens in this particular story. I don't believe her when she says everything she said in that blog post about Mike Maricini. I'm going to choose to believe Mike Maricini. That doesn't mean I don't believe women. It means I believe Mike Maricini in this particular situation when it comes to Laura. So this whole blog post where she's absolutely saying, you guys have no idea, and look at this picture of us, and he was so mean to me on the plane. It's just like, listen to Mike's story on Megan Fox's podcast and tell me who you actually believe. Her, who is a known liar, and she just expects us to believe. That's the problem that she doesn't seem to understand. She has lost all credibility because of what she has done in the Clayton case. So for her to just sit there and get mad at us, because she was unhinged in that Medium blog last night, for her to get mad at us for just not believing her, yeah, because of what you've done in this Clayton case, nobody is going to believe you. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and Mike's story is just more believable. He mentions, she didn't get a restraining order against me until she saw me with a new girlfriend. Like, I'm not saying that always happens. I've never had a restraining order on me, but when you know that, knowing everything that happens with Clayton and Greg, you do see the pattern. So her biggest mistake here is that she did the same thing. And I've said this before. She goes, it's not the same. And my response to that is, it's like watching Star Wars and going, these aren't the same thing. One Star Wars, Luke Skywalker finds out his dad is this guy. The other one, the other guy bangs his half sister. It's all part of Star Wars. It's all the same. It's a bunch of people in space. This is a case that's all the same, even if some of the details are different. She adapts, right? She messes up with Greg Gillespie's Fiverr ultrasound. So she makes sure that the new ultrasound isn't Google reverse searched, but then she doesn't do that on the video and gets caught there. Like, she adapts. She tries to learn and grow. She gets caught every step of the way.
Yeah, and her argument a lot in that Medium blog last night was, you weren't there, you don't know. And yes, there are a lot of times when it comes to a he said, she said situation in regards to SA, what I'm referring to. You can't really say that on this, right? You can't say that on YouTube. It gets flagged if you say.
Well, you're not monetized.
Today, so I can say it. So I can just drop a bunch of
really
sexual assault references. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's what we're talking about. Like, she is saying, you guys weren't there. I was sexually assaulted by Mike Maricini. It's like, okay, in any other situation, I would listen to you. And I was telling you, and I talked about it earlier in my podcast this week, was maybe we just kind of get rid of the phrase believe women and just change it to listen to women. Because I do think that women for the longest time were ignored when they came forward with stories. But we can't just automatically believe them, because if that were the case and we just automatically believed any woman who came forward about a sexual assault, then we'd be believing Laura Owens. And we don't want to do that, because she's clearly been lying.
This audience that follows this case is 95% women. They've taken the lead and they've said, look, I'm a survivor. I've had a miscarriage. I've been abused. They shared their stories and they got mad at Laura. And that's what should have happened all along, is say, let's not worry about, I think actually Lauren Needy, sorry, I always mess up the name. I think she had a great comment on her video where she said, we can't sacrifice Clayton, Mike, and Greg for the Me Too cause. The cause can exist. Yeah. And also people can take advantage of that. She's exploiting the cause the way, Bill Belichick exploited, the Tuck rule or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's she's like, it's not a loophole, but it's like she came in and, and according to my opinion right here, I'm just sharing my opinions. She came in and said, all right, I'm going to be believed over these guys. And now she's got the audacity to be upset that the tides have turned. It's like, everybody believed you. The judges all sided with you. 90. Sorry, Lauren, it's 90.
Yeah, I mean, the judges, like, I just think it's amazing, because she didn't have a blog post, I think, since February. And now all of a sudden she's written 3 since the verdict came down. Since Judge Mata ruled on her, she's written 3 blog posts. She didn't write 3, I think, since September. She only wrote 2. She wrote that one in December where she finally came out and told her name.
Then
February she wrote one, but yeah, she's written 3 since it came out. Now, you posted something earlier today on your Patreon that I was made aware of, that I don't know if you want to share, in regards to what's going on in Arizona about possible prosecution.
Yeah, so I actually have a photo here. If you click below, you'll see
add a stage.
Add that photo. This is one of our Patreon members here with County Attorney General. No, that's not what county prosecutor. What are their names? Either way, the person in charge of deciding who to prosecute. And we had a letter writing campaign. Hundreds of people mailed letters in from different countries, states, and in Arizona to try to get her attention. Now, what we know is this. By the time our good pal over here, hand delivered this letter, she has been well aware of this case and has assigned an investigator to make sure and look into it. My belief is, and we can hear from any lawyers, but my belief is prosecutors, they want to win. They're elected officials. There are too many cases to take, so they can't take everything, and they want to win. Perjury, they probably don't go after often because it's hard to prove someone's lying. I think they're going to be able to do just that. And Judge Mata appears to be very well liked and respected within the community. And I'm sure Judge Mata will be very annoyed at the Medium articles written about her. And I wouldn't be surprised if Judge Mata made phone calls. Just my guess, saying, you know what, let's take my, weight into consideration here. So
we're going to be joined. Courtney's going to come on in about 15 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about her kid's birthday because she threw a Mario Party birthday. I want to hear about it. And then her husband's going to come on, Umberto, who's involved in the Arizona court system. I don't know his job title off the top of my head. So I want to have him, kind of introduce himself, but he's definitely got some thoughts working in the, he knows Judge Mata. He knows Woodnick. He doesn't know Gingras, and he's like, what is this guy doing? So we'll hear from Umberto at about
we've yet to hear from any lawyer out there, anyone who says, oh, good game by Gingras. Every single person is their jaws on the floor and they're going, what is this guy doing? It is so against every code that every lawyer does. People are saying, and it's not me, I don't know. People are saying, I've been a lawyer practicing for 20 years. I've never seen anything like this go down. And you got to think these prosecutors it's going to just give them one more ounce of energy to want to dunk on them.
So I want to address we're just talking about Gingras. So I want to bring up some of his tweets from yesterday, because these are, look, this guy's tweeted so many things that you're just shaking your head out. But some of the things that he wrote yesterday, I really want to absolutely destroy and just kind of ask him, kind of what the hell you're doing. So what I need to do is present. And I got them saved here. And how do I present this again, Brad? What do I do?
Are they saved hard copy? If so, go to file.
We're set here.
So you click on the window in your taskbar to make sure that it's in focus, and then do present, share screen, window, photos.
Oh, present. Well, it's saying stop screen when I hit present.
Yeah. Because you have the YouTube page open, so you got to stop presenting that.
Oh.
Yeah, hit stop screen.
Okay, so now we do present, share screen, window, and here it is. Right? Yeah, share. Okay, so this is the. I want to hold on. Let me blow this up. This is the first one that I wanted to go over, and this is what Gingras said yesterday. Someone, that bitch Carol Baskin, great Twitter handle, says, how come she never went to an OBGYN? That's where the problem is. I was pregnant 4 times when the week I found out every time, including my miscarriage at 8 weeks. She's not truthful. She needs a criminal attorney now. And Gingras responds by saying she did go to an OBGYN. She went November 14th, 2023. Visit was fully documented. That's when it was confirmed she miscarried, which happens in 50% of all pregnancies at Laura's age. And then he presents this graph, and the graph, he didn't even interpret the graph correctly. What this graph is saying is that at age 33, 50% of women at the age of 33 will have had at least one miscarriage in their life.
Which is probably 15 years, basically half of their life of sexual activity. Also, what an insult to women that have had miscarriages.
Yeah.
What an insult to the journey.
Then you're looking at it and you're like, so not only that, and it's not saying at 33 years old, you have a 50% chance of getting a miscarriage, which is what Gingras presented it as.
Oh,
so
what an idiot.
Total moron.
I haven't seen this. I try to avoid him, I'm trying to be happy.
Okay. So the next tweet this is a good one. I want to bring this up. This is the question that I've had. This is the question that you've had. So many, almost the basics of, Gingras, you realize you win the case if you provide a sonogram that Judge Mata deems this is a real sonogram. They win the case.
Just one sonogram.
So that he was asked, would you mind answering one question? I think you'd agree there is one piece of evidence that would completely exonerate your client, the LA County Planned Parenthood sonogram. Why would she prevent the court from obtaining this? And this answer by Gingras is mind-boggling. He says, Clayton's supporters are in a cult, and cults cannot be reasoned with. They believe what they want to believe, not what is real. So at the end of the day, while I wish we could have verified the sonogram, the cult never would have accepted it ever. And then looking at the history of this case, even if it's possible to verify the sonogram, that probably not would have changed Clayton's position. He would have said the sonogram was real, but Laura hired someone else to go to the appointment in her place. Okay. There's a lot of things.
And if that was the accusation, we'd get security footage. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like anyone in the Clayton justice community, which, by the way, it's so offensive. It's these women in the justice community are some of the bravest, baddest motherfuckers out there. They have shared their stories. They have been so positive in raising money for these victims. It's so insulting to boil them down to a cult. Fuck Gingras for doing that.
Well,
he's got no case.
I mean, he's asked a basic question, and there's two things that I want to point out about this. Number one, I'm willing to, I mean, he was literally asked, hey, where is the Planned Parenthood sonogram? And he's like, look,
dodgeball.
His crazy followers, they're a cult. They can't be reasoned with. They're going to believe whatever they want to believe. So at the end of the day, you know, I wish I could have verified the sonogram, but the cult wouldn't have believed it ever. Gingras, do you realize it doesn't, I mean, all due respect to the cult, it doesn't matter what they think of the sonogram. It matters what Judge Mata thinks of the sonogram. If she deemed it real, you win. And this is a cult. And, you know, mind you, this is a cult, as I go with my fingers here, so that's going to take me out of focus. This is a cult that he completely always insults, calls them names, calls them pond scum, yet here he is basically saying the cult is dictating how I'm lawyering this case because, well, I would have gotten the sonogram, but, you know, they're not going to believe me anyway, so why bother? It's like,
how about
well,
this?
That's not the answer, because there is no cult.
Found all the evidence that your client sent to us, sent to old Stevie Boy and Dave over here, Batman and Robin. Okay. She sent us the fraudulent information. She denied it about yours. I don't know why she didn't deny the one she sent me. She admitted to that one because he was harassing me. Okay. Well, I've struck you across the face with truth.
Well, Laura says anything that's harassment and bullying towards her is just because they're not siding with her. So anything you say that doesn't side with what Laura's side is and her narrative, that means you're bullying her and harassing her. So that's why she doesn't have a leg to stand on. This one isn't as relevant, but I do want to say our IT guy, Brad, responded to Gingras and said, so you're saying the affidavit she executed on April 16th, 2024, while you were retained, was false. He submitted it. She says her mom drove her on July 2nd and had a sonogram performed. So this is where I want to kind of dive into the whole thing that people, I don't know if you've ever seen this. This was from the, pretrial motion, but we can start at point 29 because point 28 was basically, you know, I went to Planned Parenthood. So she says under oath, and this is part of her statement that is believed to be true. My mother drove me to Planned Parenthood location on July 2nd, but she did not come into the facility with me. I went to the appointment alone. I explained my situation to the care provider. As part of my evaluation, the care provider at PP performed a sonogram on me and verified that I was, in fact, pregnant. I took a photo of that sonogram with my phone, but I didn't want Clayton to know where I was, conceal the information, modified the change the facility name from Planned Parenthood to SMIL, and changed the date from July 2nd to July 7th. A copy of the modified sonogram images below. So this is what I want to talk about. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to Gingras, who was just asked in those tweets yesterday or the day before, where's the sonogram? Like, she said it right here in her statement. I was performed a sonogram on July 2nd. Planned Parenthood performed a sonogram on me, verified that I was in fact pregnant. Great. We can sit here and debate what date you went, how many canceled appointments you have. I will take Laura at her word for it because she put it right here in this document, in the pretrial motions here. It's like, okay, great. You went to a Planned Parenthood. I don't care. You know, I'll just say the LA one opened up for you. You knocked on the window and said, hey, let me in. I know you're closed on Sunday, July 2nd, 2023, but let me in. They let her in. They performed a sonogram on her. And in fact, she was pregnant. Great. Then where is that sonogram? And it's so easy to win your case, Laura. Where's the sonogram? And if Gingras is going to say, well, we didn't want to get it because the cult wouldn't have believed us, they're out of their minds. It's right here.
I've like really valued this system because we get to watch a judge say, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. He can say that all he wants to Twitter. And by the way, so many people have dunked on him on Twitter, and then he just goes somewhere else. He doesn't like engage, and then he goes, "You're all part of a cult." 99% of the people have never met each other. They have shown up because they are appalled that this actually might not be, getting the justice it deserves. That's why I get so frustrated, as you know, when people say, "Oh, come on, Clayton's had it in the bag. He won, and he's still going to be having to deal with this." That's why it has to go up the chain to prosecutors and see what she looks like in an orange jumpsuit, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this, and it seems very simple from the most basic premise of, if she would have produced a sonogram, that Judge Mott have deemed, hey, this is a sonogram, because in something like this, let's take this, points 29 and 30 here, for example. If she does this, and if this happened, even if she went, anonymously or under a fake name, still, if this happened, which she said it did, they performed a sonogram on me and in fact told me I was pregnant. Okay, then where is this information? We should be able to call up this particular Planned Parenthood, whichever one it was, LA, Mission Viejo, who knows, Paradise City, just making shit up now. But anybody should have been able to call up Clayton's lawyers, the Woodnick and their team, should have just been saying, okay, Planned Parenthood, yeah, we're looking for this particular sonogram. That's the reason that they haven't been able to pull anything, because we know this never happened. This appointment never happened.
I got about 12 of these. Okay. I've got them across. You know what I mean? They're all.
What is it?
It's just not. This is a digital one. This is a more high end one.
Oh,
it's just a sonogram. I mean,
yeah.
This is with the better technology, but you can go through anybody who's had a baby can look through their phone. And again, it's not like this is a baby from 10 years ago. Anyone who's had a baby or lost a baby is going to cherish those moments that they had, and they cherish the photos. And again, for a lot of people that lost their baby and had a miscarriage, they're only got one or two of these sonograms. They're not deleting them. It means something to them. To her, it doesn't, because it's fake.
And we all know it's fake. It's crazy that she pretends that it isn't. I mean, this is a woman that, if you were to ask Laura right now, if Laura were to come on this YouTube, by the way, Laura, you're absolutely 1000% invited to join me and Dave right now, because I know you're watching this. We all know she is. She watches everything. She listens to every single tweet about her, or reads every single tweet about her. She knows exactly what the JFC crew is saying about her. And it's just hilarious, especially the blog post today. She's like, oh, look at what I just said about Clayton. Oh, JFC crew's going crazy with their fingers now. They don't even know how to deal with this. Like, no, actually, they're kind of laughing at you, Laura, because you've already been ruled against. Like, what do you think is going to happen by saying these blog posts now? You think all of a sudden this is going to garner you some sort of favoritism with the judge? It's going to have the opposite effect.
I don't know what I think, but I don't think she's that smart, but I don't think she's kind of dumb smart, right? She's resourceful. She's a survivor. She's like a cockroach here. The nuclear bomb has been thrown on the truth, and she's still like, she's still got like a blinking antenna. And I think she does understand, even though her lawyer said they don't prosecute these types of things, that she has poked the bear so hard that there are plenty of people like Umberto works as a lawyer for the prosecutors, maybe not in the same division. You don't think they all go to the same company barbecue? You don't think they've got it's almost like if you live in a small town and the cops can decide who they want to pull over. I'm sorry, if you cheated on the cop's wife or whatever, you better stop at every stop sign. Okay. You better make sure your taillights aren't out and you're not drinking and driving, because they'll make your life miserable. That's not a threat, by the way. This is like obvious stuff. They decide who they want to prosecute. Just like I decide what YouTube content I want to make. So if you want to say that you want to make me go homeless and do all these things, forgive me for providing all the evidence that exonerates me from any defamation, because you, myself, and Megan and everyone has been saying nothing but the truth.
I mean, we're sitting here dissecting Gingriss's tweets that make absolutely no sense, and talking about graphs about women miscarrying at 33 and all that. The other thing that he did say in one of his tweets was that the DA isn't prosecuting anyone in this case, which is like, look, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But if you are Gingras, why would you even poke any sort of bear and put that out there into the public and say it's not happening? Because if If I'm the DA and that tweet is sent to me, I'm like, all right, I'll show this guy. Like, what's even the point? Even if there's a 10% chance of her being prosecuted, why would he send that tweet out? Why would you tweet that out?
Well, what's interesting now is now that we're post-trial, he could have done anything with all of his witnesses, all of his lines of questioning. He's allowed to get into the mud with people on Twitter. It doesn't hold up in court. Why didn't these graphs get brought into court? Because they don't hold any weight. And Judge Mata can look at that and go, oh, you've done this X, Y, and Z amount of times. She can read up on it. Sure, it's a lot of information that, you have to sift through. She goes, I don't believe it. And Mike Maricini, should he worry about this Medium article about him? I wouldn't because,
I don't know if he should be worried, but he should be triggered. I'm sure he didn't like reading that because she really was basically like, this guy, did she mention him by name in that or no?
I don't know, but I get triggered every time she writes a Medium article, whether I'm mentioned or not. And I never, boinked her. I never met her. Luckily, I never got within 50 yards of her. And I'd like to keep it that way without a court order. But yeah, I mean,
I told, I had notified Megan Fox last night. Megan was going to join us, but her daughter graduated high school today, so she's at a graduation dinner. But I had notified her last night that Laura wrote an article, and I said she really goes after Mike, and I'm guaranteeing this is going to trigger him because this is a guy that's dealt with it for 8 years. And like I said, more about the Mike story than I do. And I don't know, like all these things that she said in this blog post, I have no idea if they're true. I just know, having spoken to Mike, and again, this is just Laura I'm not believing, not women in general, just Laura. I don't believe what she is saying about the Mike situation, but I'm also at a loss because I don't know how restraining orders works. Why has she had an 8-year restraining order against this guy? What was it proven in court that he abused her, or was it just she feels threatened by him, so she was ordered one, but it's gone on for 8 years? Like, what has been proven?
I think she claimed that she ran into him, but then in her recollection, the year was wrong. And I think all she needed to extend the restraining order was show that he violated it. So someone in the chat can tell you better than I can. But again, what it comes down to is it's like, look, it would be really sad if she was abused and all these things and then lied about all these things. But that's the boy who cried wolf if that were the case. We just don't have any evidence to show that. And, it doesn't mean no one's, Mike seems like a nice guy, but no one's saying he has to be a perfect guy. He just didn't do any of the crazy things she's accused him of. In his timeline of why she didn't get a restraining order on him till a year after they broke up, it all makes sense. She didn't get a restraining order on him until he called the cops on her or something. It's all vindictive nature. And the game ends. The game's over. And she still thinks she's playing the game, but it's over.
Well, I think, and the other thing about that Medium article was the picture that she used to show, I don't know if that's what she calls an abused face. A couple people said to me that looks like allergy swelling. I mean, I looked at that picture and I was like, where's the physical abuse? What am I supposed to see here? It looked like she was breaking out a little bit in,
well, what we know is
acne.
I don't know if you know.
Haven't gotten sleep.
I don't know if you know this part, but the photo she used to show domestic violence in the TEDx talk is the same photo series that she used to Mike to claim she was getting her ovaries removed. So what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. And that's why that whole post today about everyone on the JFC crew, nobody's going to believe me, but you believe Clayton for everything. And the answer to that is yes, exactly, Laura. We don't believe you. We're not just going to automatically believe you because you tell us we're supposed to. I need to see more physical proof of anything in regards to your relationship with Mike and what he did. I understand she's got the plane and, the woman in front of us wrote me a letter on a napkin. It's like, yet we have proof of a napkin and a letter, but Mike told the story on Megan's podcast. He went into the bathroom on that plane for 2 hours. How do we know they didn't concoct something while he was in the bathroom for 2 hours? He needed to get away from her because he was putting his headphones on and she was taking them off him and crying hysterically and throwing a fit on the plane.
It makes sense to think a lady was, everyone's so jammed in next to each other like we saw from the Nick Viall video, but it makes sense that a lady would be concerning to a small lady in distress. What they don't know is that lady basically talked her way onto this vacation with Mike and freaked out on him. I don't see him raising his voice. He didn't kind of go crazy when the cops came. He stayed quiet and he was presentable. By the way, I got a photo of the three of us. Did you see it? It's right there on my media.
Yeah, look at that.
It's like Mike like running for governor right there.
Like, we're just like we want to vote for him. Yeah, look at that.
And then I have one of us celebrating afterwards.
And my flux capacitor. All right, let's bring Courtney Robertson on. Oh, did I take Dave off? Oh yeah, I took Dave off. Yeah. See, I removed you instead of removing the picture. There we go. Remove picture. All right, Courtney, we're going to bring you on. So get on your camera because it looks like you're in the queue here. We're going to bring Courtney up. There she is.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
we can. Yes, we can.
Hi, guys.
Although it's a little bit. You were better when we were.
I left my headphones inside. I'm like you. Can I go run and grab my headphones?
Sound wise, you're fine. It's the video that's kind of pixelated and kind of going in and out. It's the
I
actual.
also have my AC on. I'm in the man cave. Is that better?
Yeah, no. I said you can hear her, right?
Oh, that's a little sharper. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sharper. Okay, yeah. No, you look good.
Courtney gave me a tour of the man cave. It's a pretty nice setup she has there.
I ended up giving you a stroller. I was like, take this. You get a stroller. You get. Hi, Dave. I'm sending you lots of love. I'm sure you've been flooded with it, but I messaged you yesterday.
We got it. Thank you. Means a lot.
Sorry. Steve, you're live. Oh my gosh.
I know. Can you believe this? Courtney, I wanted to, before we bring Umberto on, I wanted to get an update. Earlier this week, Joaquin had his sixth? Is it fifth or sixth birthday?
Fourth.
Jeez, I'm way off.
Well, you know what? In your defense, he looks bigger. I mean, people think he's older than he is.
He kind of looks big for 4. Yeah, now that I think about it. Yeah.
He's like Frank the Tank.
So you had his 4th birthday and you did a whole, it was a Mario themed party, right?
Oh, yeah. I went big at Party City. It's expensive, Dave. And the gifts, he got a Jeep. That thing took me 2 hours to put together. Dave, I was going to send you a video. Like, this is what you have to look forward to. Yeah,
and
it was fun, though. We did.
So it was all Mario themed? It was all Mario themed, the party?
Oh, yeah. He's, like, super into Mario Brothers. And then I was going to do, like, a mustache on him. And I was like, this is going to be a biatch to clean tomorrow. So I opted out of the mustache.
Did Paloma enjoy it? Is she into Mario at all? Or she didn't care about the theme?
She likes Princess Peach. So I think this year for Halloween, we're going to be, she's going to be Princess Peach. Dad's going to be Luigi. Obviously, Mario wins everything. So Joaquin, he's obsessed with Mario. And then I haven't decided who I'm going to be. I think Gabriel will probably be Bowser. And I'm probably going to get stuck with like Donkey Kong or I don't care.
Princess Peach is one of the characters in the Mario world. And
yeah. Honestly, like the new Mario Brothers movie on Netflix, it's free. It's really entertaining for the parents too. Because Dave, and you'll learn this once your kids get to like the age where they want to go to movies and stuff like that. It's so fun because it's actually entertaining. You know, I took them to the movie when it came out, and then I took them to Trolls.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean look, when my niece and nephew were growing up in the early 2000, between 2005 and 2011 or 12, I thoroughly enjoyed taking them to those movies, whether it was Up or Frozen. They're all good. Like I don't think I ever walked out of one of those movies and I was like, yeah, I don't think I ever walked out of one of those movies like, oh, that sucked. Like they're all good and they're all entertaining. They all usually have catchy ass songs. Like,
yeah. Oh my God. Trolls has Justin Timberlake. He's been in the news.
Yeah. The
movie that just came out last week is the biggest grossing film since Barbie, and I never heard of it.
Inside Out.
Yeah.
And apparently Inside Out is like, I have heard and read enough reviews to where they're saying like, this is a movie, while it's a children's movie, it's an animated movie. They're saying that is really striking a nerve, like in a positive way, with adults, because it deals with all your inner emotions. Yeah, and it deals with all your inner emotions, and they're saying like adults have been brought to tears watching Inside Out too. Apparently, it's pretty heavy, and they're just like, yeah, the kids are gonna like it, but the adults are gonna understand the like deep meaning of it. If anybody has seen Inside Out 2, in the comments, let us know and let me know what you think. Do you have their toys? with the Vegas toys?
Yeah, a little backstory here. Party
Yeah.
foul. Steve, you saved the day. They know who you guys both are, by the way, because we talked to our kids about people they've met, especially after you left, Dave. Paloma was asking about you, but I was in the Vegas airport, ready to get home. Party foul. As a mom, I bought like one of these for Joaquin. Ta-da! And I bought the display one, and then I got home, and of course, Paloma was like, that's all they wanted was the one. I bought her a rubber duck that looked like Elvis. And so I'm like, Steve, I knew you had a later flight. I'm like, can you look for this? And you
Look at
bought
that.
one that wasn't the display item, and there's clearly a difference.
Look at the one I bought. I mean, that thing's lighting up. It looks like a ride at Disneyland. Look at that.
Yeah, sorry. So they've been beating each other up with this. You saved the day. So, and they have their names on it too. So let me show the camera.
Oh, look at Paloma and
Paloma
T and the
Dave.
J.
Oh,
You should have seen
Yeah.
us running around trying to find these. Steve,
I know,
Were you
Dave. Didn't we
there?
go to like? Didn't
Oh,
we go
I
to like
was-
3 different stores?
yeah, we were running around. I was like,
you
I
were
was
there,
like,
Dave?
Yeah, he was with me because we were on the same flight to Phoenix. So we were.
Well,
we
in
had a
the-
guy.
know
We had
that.
a guy. Yeah, we had a guy helping us look around. Yeah.
yeah, that
They
was
were,
crazy.
I was like, they're right at the register of like, if you're in Hawaii, like an ABC, like, you know, like the general airport. You know, I was like kind of running late. By the way, the airport's in Vegas on a, what was it, Sunday morning?
Yeah.
Underestimated like how close Mandalay was to the airport. My Uber driver was like, ooh, you're cutting it kind of close. So I was just like grabbing whatever.
Was it
And,
crowded?
so-
Was the security line crowded?
Well, no, I have TSA, thankfully. But
Oh, okay.
TSA was actually busier than I think the normal line.
Well,
We
remember,
were-
Dave. Remember when we went, Dave? I was like, "This is empty." We went. Our flight was at 7:30 on a Sunday night. There was nobody in the
That's
airport.
because security recognized Steve, so they brought him with the golf cart.
Yeah, we didn't want to get into that, but yeah, I was escorted. You know, and, reality Steve, clear the way.
They
everybody.
brought us to the a private pool deck they had.
Well, I texted Steve. I didn't know you were with him. I said, this would be good for Dave's baby. Like, this is the sort of thing, Dave, that will buy you so much time. Like, just when this is the one that I bought.
It doesn't
So
light up
anyway.
enough like the other one. The other one
No.
just kills it with the lights. Thing's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. Now Joaquin wants that one. So we're like, nope, we're writing
Oh
names
gosh,
on.
now he wants that one.
So
Okay.
Sorry
I'll
if I'm
tell
like
Tasha,
sweating.
I
I'm in
gotta-
the man cave while Umberto's taking care of the kids. We did fast. We did dinner, chicken McNuggets, and then he's gonna hop on. Which hopefully, Dave, you're there. He's got
Yeah.
like we've been like talking about this case ongoing, and he, you know, he's a criminal prosecutor, so obviously he's can't say so much, like he's not like involved, but he's got such a kind of sharp take on this.
Yeah, I wanted to know. Can you get Umberto and bring him on now? Because I've got questions. I know Dave and I have questions for him.
Are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready for him. Because we just
Well, I
got
have
done
to
talking
relieve
about.
him with the kids. So, and we
Yeah.
were just in Vegas. You guys are probably sick of me already, but so I have to leave,
No, we're not sick of you.
get the kids, and then he can hop on. So,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Dave, can I text while I'm on this?
Text through what?
Like, can I just like close out of this and
Ye-
text him?
Oh, are you on your phone?
Yeah.
I think so. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I would think you should be able to, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
tell
So
him
now
right
you're just off. Yeah. Now you're just
Yeah,
off
we
video
just-
and we hear you, but there's just no video.
I'm gonna tell him you're up.
Diane in the chat wants to know, what are the toys called? I
I don't
don't think it has a real
I
name.
want to show you the toy that was sent to me today. Hold on.
Oh yeah, get that.
Let me go
I don't
relieve
think it
you
really-
guys. You're beautiful. I told him you're up, and
Okay.
I'm gonna go relieve him so he can chat with you.
Yeah. So Diane wants to know, what are the toys called? I don't think
Let me
they
look.
have a name.
It's called Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas. This would be something like when you go to a restaurant, you can. It was $9.95. Steve, I owe you.
Yeah. No.
Look, Joaquin
Don't worry
wanted
about
his name written really big on. He took it to show and tell. I mean, I would
It's
call
just-
this like a light spinner.
You have to go into one of those. Yeah.
When
I don't even know. I don't even think it has a name, but you have to go into one of those Las Vegas stores that is at the airport.
Yeah.
And it's just where everything is Las Vegas, shot glasses, T-shirts, stuffed
I bought
animals
a
and stuff
shirt
like that.
that says like potty like a rock star because we're for Paloma because we're potty
Oh, you're-
training her.
Are you
and we
potty
have 2
training her now?
left. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, wish us luck.
Did you just
All right.
start with the potty training? You just start with it?
We have started and she is not
She wants no part
going
of it.
for it. No, she'll pee on the potty, but we know she goes in the corner, and I'm like, "Are you pooping? Go in the potty. You'll get M&Ms." We have like a whole bribery. I am not above bribing. I just got Otter Pops on Amazon Prime, so.
Oh, and she's still not doing it. Otter Pops aren't good enough for her to just.
No, I'm like, just sit down. She dilly dallies. So, here, I will hop off.
Courtney, check this out. This was just
let's
sent
see
to
this.
me.
See this
They
toy
said,
for.
Someone sent me this and said, so the August can podcast with me. It's a microphone right there for a 3-month-old.
Oh, that's like basically this.
And then they got suction cup plates so that I can suction cup some food to the table for them.
Oh, look at that thing! I want one of those.
It said,
Dave,
you notice if you hit this button, it says, "Reality Steve called me a dumbass."
My favorite.
I know, you guys
Steve called me a dumbass.
I listened to everything this week, Dave. Congrats. You've been just, I'm sure, spread thin, but.
Spread thin does not describe it. But yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry. Well,
what a week.
At least we have Vegas. We'll always have Vegas.
Well, won't we?
Yeah. We only have about 350 more days until next year's party. So how about that?
Let's start the countdown.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys all had She's All Batch on. You called her out for the cabana.
I did.
Who did? Did I?
Oh, for what? Oh, for showing up. For what? For showing up late?
No. On your podcast this week, we all have like done each other's. Dave, I need you in to just talk about fatherhood. So, but here I'm gonna go so I can. I gotta relieve the kids, and then H is gonna jump on. Be kind. He's new to all this, but he'll be.
Oh no, yeah, we definitely have some questions.
Of course you will, but he's got a great take on it, and he's done trials with Judge Mata.
Oh, he has. Oh, even better.
His sister is also really well respected in as well in the community. They were just at a conference this week, and apparently everybody was talking about it.
Everybody was talking about the Clayton Laura case.
Mm-hmm.
It's talking down.
Ask him about it. He's going to be great. I'm going to go relieve him, and I'm sweating out here in the man cave, Dave. Okay, talk soon.
Okay,
I don't know.
Thanks for coming on.
Do you think lawyers have a better success rate the more attractive they are? Kind of like CEOs kind of have to be attractive, like front. They're like the front of the company.
Does it? But wouldn't it depend on the like if the judge is male and the lawyer is a woman and she's hot, and then
now I was thinking less about that side of attraction and more like the jury and just overall likability.
Oh.
Like if Matthew McConaughey was a lawyer, he would be great. He just is so charismatic. You know what I mean?
And he was a lawyer in A Time to Kill, one of my favorite courtroom movies ever.
Right?
I think it was his first movie, if I'm not mistaken.
First big one for sure.
First big one, yeah. And that movie is rough. I mean, it's a great movie. It's a great courtroom drama, but you talk about some hard racial issues and some really disturbing scenes in that video and in that movie. Yeah, but great video. And his speech at the end is an all-time classic, basically.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But I mean, Umberto's very good looking, and Woodnick is traditionally good looking. These are they're Deandra is good looking, and I'm not Isabel. I'm not. They're all just good looking people. They're very smart. I think that's a baseline. But I think there is something to be said about being cross-examined by an attractive person. It kind of like makes you feel like you're back to getting rejected or not. I don't know. There might be some psychological stuff going on there.
Yeah. No, I'm wondering. And we can bring it up to Umberto. Yeah, because he's and I don't actually know his job. When he comes on, I want to find out his actual job title because him and I had a conversation a couple days ago. Spoke for about 30 minutes because he wanted to just kind of weigh in on this. Omar is easy on the eye. Wait, I keep hearing the name Omar. Who is he? He's like is that tilted lawyer guy, or is that somebody else?
And by the way, Dingus isn't bad looking. I'm sure he could spit game back in his day. I like, you got to be fair. I think he's using his powers for the wrong side, but I mean, like there's got to be something in the gene code about people who want to be lawyers.
Oh, okay. As we wait for Umberto to come on, again, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to, do I want to do a weekly live stream? That is the ultimate goal. I have told you guys earlier this week that I think one of the biggest things is This my weekly podcast, my Thursday podcast. We just had podcast number 396 with She's All Batch on Thursday. So I think starting at number 400, it's a nice round number. It's like a milestone goal, which would be July 18th. I think that's when my weekly Thursday podcast will also be in video form like this. So I'm going to record it as a two-shot here on screen, unless I'm interviewing She's All Batch, then it would be Stephanie, me, and Jackie. But I think what I'm going to do is record those and have those as video podcasts so you can watch those on YouTube. It'll still be coming across your Apple Podcast as well in audio form when I just take the MP3 file and add that. But so that's coming up. Again, I appreciate everybody who has donated tonight. I haven't really looked at my phone. I keep looking over here and I keep seeing Venmo stuff coming up. So again, thank you to all of you who have chipped in. If you want to help support me in my YouTube career that has just started tonight. Oh, let's just say restarted after 7 years of inactivity where I used to just upload random shit. Now it's restarted. If you want to contribute in any way, I appreciate it. The Venmo, the PayPal, and the Cash App info is coming on the bottom of the screen. So let's bring Courtney's husband in, Umberto. Umberto is now in. What's up, man?
What's going on? This is
look at that shirt.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
So
that is awesome.
I just found out not too long ago that this was going to be on camera.
Yeah.
So I said, "What do I wear?" Of course, what do I wear, right? So I got this shirt from Courtney. I said, "Of course, I'm going to wear that."
Spoiled by Reality Steve shirt, which you can get on my Twitter account.
Yeah.
By the
So
way,
of course I
are
wear
you
that.
charging us
Okay,
hourly
so
to have you on?
Umberto,
No. I'm a government employee, man. No way.
So we pay our tax dollars.
okay, so
This is Arizona tax dollars, and actually, yes and no. yeah. This
So-
is kind of off brand for me, but yeah.
So, Umberto, I want you to just tell the audience exactly what your role is in the Arizona government.
Yeah, so I've been a prosecutor more or less for the past 10 years. So I've worked for the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, the Pinal County Attorney's Office, and for the last 5+ I've been at the Attorney General's office as a prosecutor, and my focus is healthcare fraud and abuse.
Okay, so one of the first things when Judge Mata's decision came down, and I had texted Courtney like, "Hey, Mata's decision is in," and the file was sent to me, and I told Courtney, "Here it is." I said, "Send this to him. Send this to Umberto. I want to know what his take is and what he thinks of the whole thing." And I don't know if you've gotten to read all 19 pages, but one of your first reactions was you thought just the fact that Judge Mata wrote 19 pages, you said you've never seen that before?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this is only my experience, but I would say I am an experienced attorney at this point. I'll be a 15-year attorney here at the end of the year. So, I've seen some minute entries. I've seen tons and tons and tons and tons and tons, mine and other people's. She sent me the minute entry, I think, that you sent her, and I just said all I needed to see was 19 pages, LOL, or something like that. I feel like my first thought when so the trial was on, what was it now, the 10th, and she's like, "How long could it be under advisement for?" And I was like, "Well, a couple days, a week. I mean, it really just depends. She's not going to wait 6 months." But I told Courtney, I said, I would not be surprised if she took her time, was very detailed, was very thorough. This trial, this case has gotten some attention, some media attention. Laura Owens' attorney, Laura Owens herself. I mean, it's been kind of a circus. I said, I would not be surprised if she dots all of her I's and crosses all of her T's and makes sure that her record is very well kept, very put together. And when she sent that, I was like, I think I was right. I mean, I don't know if I was right, but I think I was right. That seemed pretty spot on for what she did.
So normally it would just be kind of the ending of the judgment that we saw, where it's just they just rule. And she basically kind of did a recap of the whole case, and that's what it was different.
Exactly. I mean, I again, this is just my experience, and I've done family law. I've done a couple, like some bankruptcies. I've done some personal injury. I mean, I've done juvenile law. the majority of my attorney, my career, whatever you want to call it, has been criminal law as a prosecutor, but I've done a lot and I've seen a lot at this point. Yeah, you don't see recaps like that. You usually just see, they just get straight to the point, like, upon the evidence presented, upon this, upon that, blah, 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 the court finds this. Depending on the type of hearing you have, depending on, if you have a trial, 4-day trial, 3-day trial, 2-week trial, you might get a little bit of a, somewhat of a synopsis, a recap, some sort of summary. But what she did, I've never seen anything like what she did. That was pretty mind blowing. I couldn't believe that.
And have you ever seen an attorney after they lost like that take to Twitter to, call out the judge?
No, of course not. No, that's so wild. It's not even like, and I messaged Steve last week, actually this week. So this week, the end of June is when all the Arizona attorneys are continuing education. You have to get your so many credit hours done. So a lot of conferences going on, so you can get all your hours, right? You get everybody. I was at a conference Thursday and Friday. I talked to Steve. I was messaging with him. My sister was also at a conference. She's got to be close to a 20-year attorney or so. And I asked her, I was like, hey, have you ever heard of a 19-page minute entry? She's like, what are you talking about, huh? She was shocked. And like, she's been doing it way longer than me and did a lot more family law than me. But they were even talking about it there, and not like positive thoughts about, her attorney. It was more like, this is kind of weird. This is a circus. Like, he going at the judge, things he was saying, putting on Twitter. I mean, puffing his chest, shots fired. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. Never. The only time you see that is in Hollywood, right? If someone famous in LA, New York, someone way more high and mighty than me, worth a lot more money, the defense attorney comes out after they get arrested, after something happens. This is all BS. This is all nonsense. My client's going to get cleared, blah, blah, blah. And then they plead guilty 6 months later. So it's just all, it's all puffery. It's all chest bumping. I've never seen anything like that.
One of Gingris's biggest complaints after the fact is that Judge Mata's dad was possibly in attendance at this trial and maybe might have said that, I'm just here to watch the shit show. Is that important at all? Does it matter at all if he was there and or if he even said that?
No, I mean, I don't think it's great. I don't think that's a positive thing, but I don't think it has really a lot to do with the case. The facts are the facts. The law is the law. It doesn't matter what her dad said or why he was there or whatnot. I mean, it's not unheard of to have judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, you could be attorney for juvenile law, civil law. It's not unheard of to have friends, family, etc. come watch or come be there. The courts are open. I told Courtney that when she was talking about going with you guys to watch. Like, the court is an open forum. Like, that's kind of the way the legal system's supposed to work. We can't do things in secret for the most part. So if her dad wants to go watch and is, maybe her dad's on YouTube, maybe her dad's on Twitter, maybe her dad caught something on the internet and was like, I want to go watch, I want to go see what goes on. Should he say that, yeah, I'm just here to watch the shit show? Probably not, but that has no bearing on the case. I mean, it has nothing to do with the case. It's probably just, he could have chosen his words a little differently. I would say that. If
he even said that
right.
was relayed to people. We don't even know if he did.
Right.
The next thing I think that people are asking about is this whole appeal process. Gingras seems to think that, we're just going to win on appeal. With this is a slam dunk. He thinks there's no way they're going to lose an appeal. Explain exactly what the appeal process is. What does he have to do? When is it done by? When do you think it'll be done by? And once an appeal is made, then what does the court system have to do?
Yeah, I mean, I won't sit here and tell you or your fans or pretend like I'm some appellate attorney and I know all the ins and outs. I don't do appeals. I will tell you that right now. I know, the Cliff Notes version, and even from the ruling, he has 10 days to file an appeal unless I'm wrong. That's very much in line. I want to say the criminal law is 20 days after a trial, but who knows? It's a short time frame. You don't have 6 months. If you wanted to file an appeal, you have to do it quickly. But then, yeah, the issues are legal issues. The judge is, she decided the facts based on the testimony, and there is a huge deference to the trial court. It's not like he files an appeal and it's automatically reversed, or they just look at it and reverse it. I mean, they'll look at it. They'll look at Mata's minute entry. I'm assuming that they can pull whatever records they need if they need additional stuff. But yeah, and then I guess the timing, they file the appeal. They'll, I believe, I would imagine, again, I'm no appellate attorney. Clayton's attorney could file some sort of response, anything. Maybe not. I could be wrong about that, but I think they could have some sort of input in. And then, yeah, as far as timing, I think the Court of Appeals, or whoever takes a look at it, I mean, it could be a month, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be 3 months. I told Courtney, in my opinion, based on that minute entry, I would not be surprised if it was just shot down quickly. The other thing, because of how thorough she was, because of how she protected the record, and because I don't know what they would be appealing. What is their end goal? What are they trying to do? Paternity, as far as I can tell, wasn't an issue anymore. She said, "I'm not pregnant. It's done. We're over with." The issue was Clayton getting attorney's fees. And based off everything that was presented, all the testimony, all the evidence, and her procedural background, and with these other men, why wouldn't he be entitled to attorney's fees? Could they give, or could Judge Mata order 75% of the required or requested amount, 50%, 20%? Yeah, of course. But I don't know why Clayton shouldn't get attorney's fees. And I've said this, obviously I haven't covered this or watched as much as you and Dave and Courtney, but I said that from the beginning. I said, if this is all BS, he's at least entitled to get his money back from having to defend himself and put forward this, this defense, this case, saying, hey, this is all wrong. So
I guess the other big final thing about this case is the fact that I think a lot of people were hoping during the course of this case that even if the judge did favor decide in favor of Clayton, which she did, and attorney's fees, we don't know what that number is. It's probably going to be definitely six figures, probably 150, 200, maybe even 250. We don't know. He has to turn in, I guess, all his receipts or whatever. But it was, well, what else can happen to Laura? And we all know from Judge Mata's decision, this has been handed over or endorsed to, I always forget, what is it, the county attorney or the DA? What is?
Yeah, he was wrong. It's not the DA. It's the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. That's how we do it here in Arizona. Okay. All the counties, we have, 11, 9, 12, whatever it is. Everybody has a county attorney's office who handles a ton of mostly felony cases. We do some whatever, some small jurisdiction misdemeanor cases. I think a lot of it's unincorporated land. But anyway, and then a lot of our cities have city courts that deal with that kind of stuff. We do not have a district attorney. It's the Maricopa County Attorney's Office who handles, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe, Mesa, all the cities, all within Maricopa County. So that was another thing. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office was endorsed on that minute entry. I've never seen anything like that either. I mean, that was wild to me. Again, not that I don't know if it ever happens. Maybe it happens every day and I just don't see it. But I have seen, again, a ton of minute entries. And for Judge Mata to go out of her way to say, hey, Maricopa County, you might want to take a peek at this, get some detectives involved or get some people asking questions to Scottsdale PD. I don't know where they're at. But start talking to some of these, alleged victims, these men who've, gone through the ringer because of her basically being untruthful. They could definitely get a case going. Absolutely. It would not be unheard of. It's just so unheard of to have the judge get involved.
Yeah. Umberto, we found out today that they already have an investigator assigned to this, thanks to all of the tweets that they were getting. Is that something that's common where like a grassroots effort could get them to look into something?
I mean, would they admit to that? Is that something? No, but I think we all know how the media works. The more eyes you have, the more attention you have. Rachel Mitchell, the county attorney, I don't know who exactly got this on their desk, his or her desk, But yeah, I mean, if you see this, you get Judge Mata's, and again, I would say something. I think Judge Mata's respected. I don't know a ton about her, but I think I appeared in front of her a few years ago. Judges rotate. You do criminal, probate, civil, juvenile, family law. I mean, you don't just sit somewhere forever. I would say Judge Mata has a pretty good reputation. I would say Greg Woodnick has a pretty good reputation. I think the fact that she endorsed the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, they'll at least take a look. Will they spend 6 months on it? Will they spend a ton of man hours on it? Maybe not. But I would imagine, because it was her, because of the minute entry, how well written it was. I didn't see a big deal with all the typos, but that's just me personally.
Jingers was like, "Oh, look at she typed her on wrong in the first paragraph." It's like, really? That's what you're worried about?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see a huge deal with that, but yeah, you don't see something like this. I've never seen anything like this. It is totally wild to me. I worked at that office for almost 3 years. So yeah, if they have a detective assigned or investigator assigned, it's not a huge shock. Cases that get a lot of media attention here in Maricopa County obviously are, someone's going to take at least a peek. I would say that.
Now, if they do bring it to court, prosecutors have a very high batting average. So are they looking for cases where they clearly know they've got a very, very strong case? And would they look at this evidence as like open and shut if they wanted to pursue it?
Yeah. I mean, I work there. Where I work now County Attorney General. I mean, I would say the standard reasonable likelihood of conviction. You have to reasonably believe that you can defend it. Go on base. I mean, there's been cases that I've turned down. There's been cases that I didn't go on where it's too much of a 50-50. You have a reasonable likelihood of conviction. So if they would say they feel damn good about their case going to trial, because you have to figure, like, trial, she's probably probation. She's looking at a jury. You have to convince 8 people that she's guilty. So you have to have a pretty damn good idea that you're going to convict her, and you can convince 8 people to say guilty.
I think if you gave me 1,000, I could convince 999. If one of those is her mom, maybe I wouldn't convince her. But
yeah, no doubt.
You don't know one person who's looked at this case honestly, that's not a paid expert by her or her mother, as someone who doesn't see it for what it is, a con job,
Well, I think I think Mata put it best, or maybe succinctly, that she has established a pattern. I think I read that somewhere.
She wrote that
has developed
at the very end, like in her conclusion.
If Clayton Echard was the only male that she had done this to, or partner, or love, whatever interest, then if it was one, then it might be a little tougher. But once you develop a pattern, that's your modus operandi, kind of like. So, I mean, you're getting an MO. You're like, you're developing a pattern. You're developing habits. You can point to other people in the same situation that you've done this to. So, yeah, I mean, that's really bad for her. That's really, really bad.
And you were talking about jury and her appearing before 8 people have to find her. Like, she was terrible on the stand in the trial that we saw. She was terrible. I want to see her in front of a jury, because I think a jury would not believe a word she said. I just don't think she's good on the stand.
They might eat her up. I mean, I read about that too. I didn't watch. I'll be honest. I didn't watch. I didn't, I was actually in court myself. So I didn't pay a ton of attention to the trial. I heard from Courtney. I saw some Cliff Notes stuff. But yeah, the jury takes that into account for sure. And if you're asking for a timeout and you don't want to answer questions and your attorney's allegedly coaching you, I mean, that looks really, really bad. Because I mean, the eight jurors talk, right? They're not secluded in a room, each of them by themselves. So like 8 people go into a room and they start talking with each other, like, okay, let's vote. What do we think? Blah, blah, blah. They're going to start talking like, did you see this? Did you see that? Wait, did you see this? Like, I don't think that she's like, they'll start talking. If she has that appearance, again, in my personal humble experience, that's pretty bad. It's not looking good going forward.
Well, I mean, I don't think anything in this case has looked positive for Laura. The fact that, I think even the OOP ruling, the Armada did not take that away, but she what have I been reading now, Dave? That because she has an OOP out against Clayton, but Clayton's got one against her. But
Yeah.
Judge Mata said it kept it, but she just upheld it, right? She has no jurisdiction to overturn that.
Right. So Laura made it seem like that it was a win for her, but it was just the judge going, I'm not going to touch that. But dude, I gotta go. The baby's crying in the other room, so I got.
Oh, okay.
But thank you for having me on. Everyone,
thanks, Dave.
To have a YouTube channel, so it looks like Umberto's a new star.
No.
I'll be watching you guys from my phone, but you guys are crushing it, so keep it up.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
Take it easy.
So, from my encyclopedic knowledge of this case, Judge Mata said that there is a precedent in a case called Vega that said that a superior court cannot horizontally review an order of protection, and it needs to go to the appellate level based on precedent.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
she said
in a roundabout way, she just said, I can't touch it. That's all she really said. That I can't touch it. I'm not going to touch it. If she tried to touch it, she probably could have been overruled. Maybe that would have been an issue to appeal. That could have been a real appeal issue based on case law, etc. Again, I don't know. I wouldn't understand the rhyme or reason to appeal. Just my own 2 cents, my thoughts. What are you going to appeal? What's the ruling that you want other than the money? And if that's what you want to try and appeal, go for it. I mean, whatever. But there are really no huge issues out there.
And isn't the appeal process strictly based off interpreting the law? Like if certain laws weren't followed in this particular decision that Judge Mata came to, and that's why she laid out 19 pages. This isn't just she can, Gingrich can appeal something that was said. Isn't it just an interpretation of the law?
Yeah,
that was done wrong that way.
Right. I mean, they're going to look. I think they'll look at something along the language is harmless error. Like if it's harmless error, they let it go. Because again, a huge deference is given to the trial court, whether you're criminal, juvenile, whatever judge, courtroom conducted the trial, they're given a ton of deference because they were there, they were in it, they witnessed it, they watched it, they got to see her demeanor, they got to see the defense attorney, or her attorney, I shouldn't say defense attorney, maybe coaching her on the stand. I mean, they were the ones who witnessed it, who saw it, so they get a ton of deference. But yeah, they're looking at legal issues or I can't forget some of the verbiage too. Like if it was an error that happened that they would have to do something factual or whatnot, it would have to be, I guess the other way would be very harmful for very poor wording. It would have to be something that would, that would be the appellee, Laura Owens, couldn't have, won her issue any other way, but for, this, terrible ruling, terrible facts that were allowed in, etc. And I mean, I don't see it. That's just a little far-fetched, I would say.
Yeah, no, that seems to be the consensus that they have no chance of winning an appeal, even though they think they have 100% chance they're going to win an appeal. And this thing is just, a done deal.
I told you it's wild to me, the chest puffing and everything else, and this is a slam dunk, and I have all this appellate, record, and maybe Woodnick's cases don't go to appeals. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's not an appellate attorney. Not everybody does appeals. I don't do appeals. It's all very, very wild. Again, from where I sit, what I do, I'm just a measly government employee. But yeah, it's a lot to wrap your head around. You just really don't see it all the time. But hey, more power to them if they want to appeal and go that route and do it. I told Courtney, and I might have told you this too. I mean, we have defendants who have been sentenced to prison for years and years and years and years who have tried to appeal to the Court of Appeals, appeal to the Supreme Court of Arizona, that try in special action, try et cetera, to get their case heard. And they're in prison. And I mean, and for them to just think they can just appeal and everything's just going to, turn for them, I just don't think that's a reality. Whatever kind of law you practice, I just don't think it's just not realistic. We have death row inmates that are waiting for the Supreme Court to get involved and help them in the appellate process. And, you know, it doesn't always work out in their favor. So for him to just think this is a slam dunk, I don't, it's hard for me to understand. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I know you've had a busy week, Umberto, because you had a 4-year-old Mario Brother Disney, Mario Brother party. Talked to Courtney about it. It looked like a lot of fun. It looked like Joaquin had a blast at it.
No, he loved it. He loved it.
But man, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. This is a good talk. Thanks for getting with me earlier this week too about it.
No. All good, man. Always a good time. Always a good chat. I'm sorry I missed Vegas. I got a shirt to wear anyway.
Next year you're coming. Next year you'll be there.
I already heard about the Miami Vice theme or the 80s theme or maybe dressing. It was something like that. Yeah. I got a little bit of it and I'm ready. I was already looking at outfits. We'll be there. Yeah. As long as we can be there, we'll be there.
Yeah. Gabriel will be 13 months old at that point. That'll be a lot easier than
much easier. Yeah. By then by then he'll probably be walking. So who knows? He might be a little harder, but at least he'll be the late night feedings, things like that. I'm sure we can find. My mom's good about helping us out. I'm sure she'll take him for a day or two.
Yeah, no, that'll be great. Look forward to it, man. We'll be in touch.
Nice. Take it easy. Have a good night.
You got it. Thanks, man.
See you later.
So thanks to Umberto for coming on. And obviously Dave had to run. He's got a crying baby. I don't have a crying baby. So I'm kind of here on my lonesome. Again, thank you to all those. I haven't been able to, I know that I keep getting notifications on my phone about, let's see, Venmo's coming in. So anybody that has sent in a Venmo and has donated and helped support this new YouTube venture. Why is my whole thing blurry? Whoops. Is my screen blurry, Brad?
Yeah, your camera's not focusing back in. Maybe wave your hand or something to get it to wake up.
Oh, there we go. Oh, did not know that. Thanks.
Yep. Those Venmos might have notes in there for people to share, words of encouragement or whatnot. So it might be good to go through those and read them. Okay.
Yeah. Let me do that. Let me go on my Venmo. So I wanted to shout out the people who have donated. To my Venmo, over $100. Thank you so much for people that have done this. Let me go to my home. Kim, the fact that you Venmo'd me $100, that is huge. Kim, I hope you get monetized. Thanks for all you've done for Clayton, praying for all the victims of this psychotic bitch. And it's funny because you can't write the word bitch in a Venmo note or else it doesn't go through. I realized that sending it to somebody a while ago. So you had to do the I was the $sign and the T was the ampersand. Nancy McQuillan, thank you for donating. LaDawn, Barbara, Shauna, thank you for all for donating some money. And I don't even know. Let me see if I can go to maybe some of you did Cash App. I don't even know. Yes, Kathleen donated through Cash App as well. So anybody who has sent stuff over, PayPal, whatever the case may be, I really appreciate it because, this is a new YouTube venture. I'll be able to monetize it hopefully soon. Somebody told me, Brad, that I was over 2,000. Is that right? That I finally got over 2,000 followers. How do I look at that again?
I did not see that, but we will definitely check it out.
Yeah. How do I go to my YouTube page? Oh, 2.06K subscribers.
Look at you.
So now I guess I'm over.
I see 2.23.
Yeah, I just refreshed it. 2.23. So we started tonight with I think 1.74, 1.79. So we got about 400, 500 subscribers tonight. That's great. Good to know. And obviously, as I do more, I think a lot of these will be, bringing friends on, bringing maybe some people on. Like I said, the Thursday podcast, probably going to start that at podcast number 400, which would be July 18th. That will be on video as well as audio. So nothing will change on the audio side for those of you who just listen to my Thursday podcast, my interview podcast. That'll be the same. It's just once that goes live on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen to, we're also going to launch it live on YouTube. So you can watch it if you want to watch me talking to the person that I'm interviewing, just like Umberto and Dave and Courtney. So that's coming. Go ahead.
The cool thing about memberships is you could do like day early access if they subscribe to you on YouTube and post it there as well.
There you go. I mean, even more. Like, I'm still learning about this stuff. You know, I know my camera's gone blurry a few times tonight because I can't not have my hands near my face. And I tried.
You've been doing really well with that, surprisingly.
Yeah, I never did this. I haven't done this once, but I did talk with my hands a few times. But again, if you're just joining right now, by the way, somehow, if you're just joining this, you can go back to the 5 minute and 35 second mark. 5:35. Is that the time or the time stamp? Or
That's
the same thing.
That's the time when it started, but it was basically 5 minutes into the stream.
Yeah. You can scroll all the way back and go 5 minutes into the stream. And then at that 5.5 minute mark, for about 10 minutes, I gave spoilers for Jenn's season, which were just who got eliminated the first night, who got eliminated at the second rose ceremony, and 3 of the 4 guys that got eliminated at the third rose ceremony, along with what happened to Aaron Erb and why he was eliminated from the show so early on. And it wasn't because he didn't get along with Jenn or anything. He's going to get a kind of a hero edit because he left to go serve our country. He had to get to flight school, I think, something along those lines. It'll be explained better. The main thing that I know a lot of you guys tuned in for tonight was what happened on that first night, who said something that's going to give a lot of the audience a negative impression of them. I don't want to say that person's name right now because if it's not shown in the first episode, I'm probably not going to run with it because I don't have any proof, even though, trust me, it happened. But we'll have to see once the episode screeners get sent out to the media. I'll find out through somebody who watches the first episode if that particular thing is shown, and if it is, then I'll reveal it the very next day and say, here's what you need to know. But it's not a very good look for one of the guys who lasts pretty long on the show, and he's going to have to deal with the backlash if they show it. But if they don't, oh well. Anyway, I'm going to end this stream. Everybody that tuned in tonight, I really appreciate it. I know it's a Saturday night. Maybe you guys had some plans, maybe you didn't, but I appreciate everybody coming on.
We've got a couple messages to go through, Steve.
Totally forgot. Messages. If you have any questions that you want to do, I can do it for, I don't know, next 10, 15 minutes.
This was early in the stream. This is about an hour and a half ago. So if Teresa, if you're still here, Season 1, I discovered Steve's years before my girlfriend's, and one season's $1 each betting pot every year, and about $5 one year I finally fessed up. So thanks, Steve.
How about that? Someone using my spoilers to cheat in a pool. Hell, I would do it too. I mean, my gosh, there's a reason Vegas doesn't put out betting odds for a show like this because of me. I'm out there. So unless they do it and they just set limits at like, hey, the most you can win on betting on who's going to win the Bachelor or the Bachelorette season is like $200. They're not going to give you a $10,000 limit because I would just go place a $10,000 bet and I'd win. And then they would probably be like, wait a second, this is the guy that spoils the show and he's betting 10,000. So yeah. So that's something that I probably, but I'm glad. Hey, I would take advantage of it if I was somebody that listened to me for sure. Pop up that next one.
Happy said, Humberto, do you hate Nick Viall as much as the rest of us do? Tell the people what we need to know.
I don't even know if Humberto knows Nick Viall. He might. I'm sure he's heard of him. Courtney definitely is not a fan of Nick Viall. So I'm sure at some point over dinner, over kids' meals, they've talked about the fact that Courtney is not a fan of Nick. I hope everyone enjoyed, because I've talked about that Nick Plane video for years, but I have never had a forum to where I could go online on a video stream like this, a live stream like this, and actually show the video while I'm watching it. I hope you all enjoyed it. Maybe some of you have never seen that in the 10 years that I've talked about it. It's the best spoiler I ever had. You literally had the final 2 guy on his flight home from filming trashing the lead and her choice, the things that he said about Andy. Just hilarious. Like he was just so butthurt that he didn't get picked. He had to insult everybody else that did. So, or what else we got?
All right. Class of 83 says you were at the trial on June 10th, correct? Red shirt?
Yes, that was me. I was on Dave's stream for a lot, and then I went inside, and I was in the overflow room, which was right next to the trial room, because the trial only had 2 benches behind each counsel. and that was literally for witnesses and media and family and friends. The overflow room had about, how many of us were in there? I don't know, 20, 25 of us maybe were in the overflow room, and was adjacent to the trial room. And we just watched on a giant flat screen TV. So it was cool to be in there, to be honest, to say the least.
Now, the flat screen, because we only got one view from behind Woodnick's bench, what could you see on the flat screen? Did you get the view where you could see the front view of the lawyers, the witness stand, and Judge Mata's camera?
Now I'm trying to remember what we saw on the flat screen. It was a giant, probably 80-inch TV, maybe 75, 80-inch TV. Half of the screen was like back left of Woodnick's shoulder. So back of the, so we saw like a wide shot of everybody.
Okay, so
and then there was a
probably
quarter,
the media feed.
Feed. Quarter feed was Mata.
Mm-hmm.
Quarter feed was, I think, the witness stand. God, I already forgot what I watched, but I know that half of the screen was the media feed. So yes, we did see. I mean, I wasn't paying attention to Gingrich. I was just listening in and watching it when, what's her name? Who cross-examined Laura? Why am I forgetting her name already? Deandra. When Deandra said, I'm going to step in between you and counsel because it seems like he's giving you answers and feeding you answers. That was the first it was brought up to me. When I went back and rewatched the feed on Laura, on 90s, that's I rewatched the trial twice now on Laura 90's YouTube channel. That's one, because that's what I started looking for, because I didn't notice it in the moment, but yeah.
Right. Greek Chicky says, so Thursday podcast we should watch on YouTube instead of streaming on Apple. I want to make sure I give you money as best as possible.
Is there a right answer to this?
There really isn't a right answer. Consume the media as best you want it, because there's going to be ads on the podcast. There's going to be ads on YouTube. So whatever the case may be, participating in the content the way you see fit is going to be the best way.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, to me, like I said, the donations tonight were a help, any sort of tip or donations, and that'll just basically be on the live streams when I do those. And, you know, I don't know my live stream schedule. When Ashley and I were doing these, I think we went live every Thursday night, and then I think we changed it to Sunday nights. But then when football season starts, I'm not going to want to do a live stream on Sunday nights because I'm going to be watching football. So I don't know. I haven't decided how often the live streams are going to happen, but they will. Put it this way: you're not going to have to wait 7 years for me to do it on the live stream. I can tell you that much. The goal eventually will be for me to do it once a week, but I want to get into a pattern where I can kind of get the same thing. But the other thing is, there will be live streams where maybe we just do a Q&A. Maybe I just take comments like we've been doing here and answering questions, kind of like how I did back 7 years ago that you can see on my YouTube channel, which I think was done through Google Hangouts or whatever, Google Meetup. And then maybe I'll do like that and then combine it with any information that I've gotten on spoilers. I think now you're going to start seeing, especially during filming, I'm going to start uploading a lot more stuff to my YouTube channel, kind of like even those videos that are 7 years old, you know, Chris Soules eliminating Jade at the rose ceremony, that's still on my YouTube channel. When I get videos and or photos, I'm probably not only going to tweet it out and put it on my Instagram story and my Instagram highlights, but I am going to probably upload a video that just has the label of it. Hey, here's, you know, whoever the next Bachelor is. Let's just call it, I don't know. I don't want to throw it out there. I have no idea who's going to be the next Bachelor, but Jim. Jim's the next Bachelor. No, there's no Jim on Jen's season. So Jim's going to be the next Bachelor. And I'll be like, hey, here's Jim on a one-on-one date in Berlin, making up the fact that they're going to Germany next year. And I would just post the video kind of like the Chris thing and just leave it like that, just so that there can be, you know, if I have a bunch to give, then I'll probably do a live stream or even do a pre-recorded video and just upload it to my YouTube. Either way.
All right. We want to cut this before 2 hours, so I think this will be it.
Yeah. So again, Brad, thank you for the help tonight.
No worries.
Brad is going to be the IT guy here and helping out on occasion. Thank you all to tuning who came in. Gosh, we had over 800. I think that might have been. Did we ever? I don't know. Were you looking at the numbers? I kept glancing every once in a while.
Yeah.
Did we ever get to 900 or 850? Do you remember like the highest?
I don't.
Okay.
But
no big deal.
All right. We'll catch you, everyone.
Brad, thank you. I appreciate you with the help tonight. Yeah. And we will we're going to end this right now.